Today on the channel, we raise some hell with Hellraiser NECA Ultimate Edition Pinhead.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Ultimate Edition unboxing and review. In today's video, we take a look at the NECA Ultimate Pinhead, of course, from the Hellraiser franchise. But for all your Pinhead needs and a whole lot more, make sure you're hitting up Entertainment Earth. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10% on all in-stock items. Anything over $79 does ship free. Got to get a deal out there. And Pinhead, one of the horror icons of, I guess, the 80s, really. I think he came around about 86, 87, somewhere in that time frame. And I always think of, when you think of the horror monsters, you think, of course, Universal Monster Group back in the day, some all-timers out there. But then you think of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You think of the Michael Myers of the world, I guess Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You think of Michael Myers and Halloween, Friday the 13th, Jason, Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street. But then I put right in there would be, of course, Pinhead from the Hellraiser franchise. There's been like 9, 10 movies and a TV series, I think, even at this point here. So one of those guys that's been around for a long time, but always a little different to me. I liked my Leatherfaces. I liked my Jasons. I liked that kind of horror, some bloody horror, beating people up, that kind of stuff, where Pinhead was always in a different realm. Very creepy realm, something I just couldn't really get around. However, always found him to be super iconic looking, of course. I remember as a kid going to the costume shop for Halloween. You'd see the deluxe mask of Pinhead. I was like, man, that'd be really cool to be Pinhead for Halloween. Never happened. I was Freddy Krueger for about 18 years in a row, I think, something like that, or maybe 5. Who's keeping track at this point? But my dad was a huge Pinhead fan. He used to always make mention of Pinhead when I was a kid. Out of that core group of the Friday the 13th, that kind of stuff, Pinhead was always his favorite, and I don't know, not my favorite by any means. Always very creepy. I guess I'm not a big into the body mutilation horror, people getting hooks and torn off and skin people without skin walking around. Just always a little creepy to me. But of course, we do know Pinhead had one ultimate showdown, and we're going to get to that later in. Pinhead's biggest foe of all time. We'll talk about that later in this video. But of course, we're going to do this video like we do all the other ones on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. Right off the bat, we got that classic, I don't think that's the classic movie poster, but it's close enough to be dangerous there. Ultimate Pinhead Hellraiser. What's it say up here? Demon to some, angel to others. So he doesn't know the difference between pleasure and pain. He wants a young pain for pleasure. Wasn't that a Sum 41 song back in the day? I think it might have been. Shout out to Sum 41. Oh man, we're taking it back to the 90s or maybe early 2000s. Something like that. Something like that. Kyle's old radio days is what we're taking that back to. But Hellraiser looking interesting right here. Hellraiser on the side. NECA Real Toys. Hellraiser right there. Same thing on the top. Jibber Jabber UPCs on the bottom. A couple of glamour shots going there, but we do get a little blurb at the bottom. Let's see what it says about our old friend Pinhead. Boy, really small lettering down here, too. Yearning to surpass the earthly limits of pleasure and pain, Frank purchases a mysterious puzzle and inadvertently opens a portal to hell. When he solves it, his body is torn to pieces by the Cenobite residents of the other realm, but something of Frank lingers, waiting on the blood of others to return to life. And I think a guy cut his finger moving furniture and stuff, cleaning up the living room and or in the attic, I think it was. And blood came down there and Frank was reborn, but it doesn't really say anything about Pinhead down there. It kind of gives you a little bit of a movie synopsis there, which is interesting. But who knows? We're going to see what's going on. I forgot to open up the inside. Of course, typical NECA fashion, looking beautiful here. And I believe this is a re-release. There's been a few of these. And I remember back like 15 years ago, I think it was when they first came out with the NECA version of the Cenobites and Pinheads and stuff. And I got those for my dad, I think, for birthday and Christmas one year. Nothing says Christmas like a little Hellraiser action figure, that's for sure. See you later, goodbye. And I think my dad still has them on display in his office to this day. So there it is. There's old Pinhead himself. Old Doug Bradley, I believe, is his name. Very good actor, very English, and like I said, very creepy. When you think of Pinhead, I mean, that is the role of Pinhead, and it's a little tougher role to do than some of the other ones. I guess Freddy Krueger, of course, is a tough one to redo out there, but, Michael Myers, Leatherface, Jason, some of those, they don't really change. There's no real talking and stuff, so they don't need an actor. But you got Robert Englund for Freddy Krueger, Doug Bradley here for Pinhead. Makes it a little tougher to replace these ones, that's for sure. And I heard something, let me just pull that head right off, I guess. I'll do that too. Dangerous unboxing right here. There it is. See you later, goodbye. Oh, a little silica packet, beautiful seasoning. See you later, goodbye. And put this head back on. But where was I? Robert Englund, very tough to replace. Doug Bradley, very tough to replace. And then I heard the new Hellraiser series. I haven't seen it, but it's like a female Pinhead. I don't know if I can get on board with that. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? But if you've seen that, let me know. Is it worth my investment? You know how rare time is for me. I haven't even seen any of the Back to the Futures. Remember that. Is it worth watching the Hellraiser series? Who knows? Who knows? But let's dive in here, and I guess we'll start off with all these accessories going on. There's a lot going on right here, as we do got extra hands. So right out of the package, he's ready to shake some hands or slap somebody with a little paintbrushing. Old Pinhead, always a joker. So we do got that. We do get two semi-gripping hands, a little blood on the hands as well. Very, very creepy, of course. We do have those, and then we do got two gripping hands, so we can grip some of this stuff as well. So all the hands you could need except for fists, and you know, Pinhead doesn't do a lot of fisticuffs, and it's tough to fight a guy like Pinhead, because if you're going to fight him and you're going to give him some of those 1, 2, 3s and things, you just punch him in his head, and then your hand is impaled in those nails. That's a tough day at the office. So you got to work the body. You got to look for that liver shot. That's the automatic TKO. If you've never been punched hard in the liver, it's an automatic knockout. Your body, it's like you're awake for the knockout. It just, crumples you. It's the worst, but we used to do it back in the MMA gym days, back when I was a kid training and all that stuff. You'd knock somebody in the liver. It was like, knocked you out with the liver shot. Oh, just fun times, let me tell you. Great times. But let's keep diving in here. Of course, we got the puzzle box going on. Very iconic to Hellraiser. Got to have the puzzle box here. Looking good for what they are. A dangerous box. I wouldn't have anything to do with it. Not a fan of puzzle boxes. Some boxes I really like. Those boxes, not so much. Not so much. So there you go. Now we got some instruments of destruction here. Is this like a bone saw? I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, it is. It is a saw. So it's a little bone saw here. And these just dangle off, of course, Pinhead. So we got that. What do we got? A little bit of a knife. Yep, like a surgical knife here. You're going to tear away some flesh. You got to have some instruments of destruction, like a Young Transformers, the movie soundtrack back in the day. Check that one out. And then you got a big old meat hook going on here. So some dangerous, very rudimentary weapons here. Definitely not a good day at the office if you have to deal with any of those. But now we're going to dive into Pinhead himself. And we got two heads on Pinhead. So the one out of the package here, very stoic, like he just came through the puzzle portal, whatever it is he comes through, coming at you there. You got all the pins all over. Thankfully not sharp. There are nice rubber pins on there, but it does look good. But man, very, very striking there. Very evil, very scary. That pale skin tone behind that was also another big creepy aspect of him. There's no doubt about it. He's got blue around the mouth, blue around the eyes, even a little bit of blue in his ears. So I don't know if he's transitioning into a Smurf or what's going on there with Pinhead, but definitely interesting looking out of the package. And then the second head, the one I'll probably use, is Pinhead a little bit angry. A lot of the same stuff, except the mouth is open, teeth clenched together. He needs to see a dentist there, though. He needs to hit up the dentist. He's got a little yellowing going on. I think I see a little gingivitis forming. Who knows? Could be happening. But we get two heads here for Pinhead. Choose your own head adventure. Now we dive into Pinhead himself. He's got that, I don't even know what you call what he's wearing. It's like a weird suit of some kind, but he's got the blood, he's stitched up. He even got some of that like surgical stitching, like rope right here, a little thread through there in the stomach. Like he's doing some work on his tummy. Oh, he's got tummy problems. They're working on him, I guess. A little bit of blood on the hands like we've seen, but all black attack. You got pins throughout on the body, kind of stapled into him. Just a very rough go on old Pinhead, no doubt about it. Now, he does got a soft, good skirt going on. You lift that skirt up, and he's even got some Terry Steinbach-issued shin guards down there. So good to see that. He's protecting the shins. Nothing worse than getting hit in the shins, and even Pinhead knows that. Very interesting, but his skirt, very, very nice. Kind of a little bit sparkly, I guess we'd say, on this one. And we do got wire in the bottom of it, too, so you can get a little extra posability out of this if you want to. Always like stuff like that. Articulation, the head is removable, as we did see. You just pop that off. Very thin peg joint on there, but it goes off and on very easily. Arms do go all the way around for us. No bicep cut, double jointed elbows though, pinless elbows even. Hands removable back and forth. You get a little hula hoop at the top. What do we got? No traditional waist, but you get the legs that bend, of course. You get the legs that go out. single jointed knees, side to side, and then ankles up and down, side to side. So not a ton of articulation, but you know, a lot of these great horror icons, they're not gymnasts, they're not sprinters, they're not running around, they're just kind of there, and that's kind of how Pinhead is here as well. He's just kind of a stoic being that's there in front of you, and you're just like puzzled. You're like, what is this? What is this in front of me? What am I going to do about this? That's kind of where you're at. And that's where I'd be at least if Pinhead showed up down here. You never know. This basement gets crazy every once in a while. He might show up, come walking through the secret door one day. Could be dangerous. Could be dangerous. But does he fit on a Mattel ringside collectible stand? Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. What do you know? Fits perfectly on the stand. But it's good for what it is. Now, I'll never say I'm a huge Hellraiser fan. Maybe Hellraiser 3, which we'll talk about here in a second. But not a huge fan. I really do prefer Texas Chainsaw Massacre the most. There's a couple of duds in there, but 1 and 2 are just absolute masterpieces. I do like Freddy Krueger here and there. They kind of all run together for me for Freddy Krueger outside of a couple of them, but they do run together. Same thing with Jason. A lot of those run together. I always was a Takes Manhattan guy. I don't know about you. And then the Halloween ones I really do love, but personally I love Season of the Witch, Halloween 3 the best, which isn't even Michael Myers, so I know that's strange as well. But yeah, it just kind of depends what you like. But Hellraiser, I've seen it a couple of times. I haven't seen all the sequels, that's for sure. But one that we all have to see, and one that we absolutely love, is Hellraiser 3. And we know about the Hellraiser song, of course, from Ozzy Osbourne. But who wrote that for Ozzy? Well, it was my main man. It was Lemmy from Motorhead, wrote the song Hellraiser. And then he also released it on his own Motorhead album. So it comes down to, do you like Ozzy's version? Do you like Lemmy's version? Well, Lemmy's all day, but I love that Ozzy album for sure. No More Tears, one of the best Ozzy albums, one of my favorite cassette tapes. I got that the day that came out, and I got the Macho Man Hasbro that day. Oh, it was an all-timer of a day for me. But of course, Hellraiser's on there. That's where I first heard it from Ozzy. Later on, I found out Lemmy wrote it, and then Lemmy released it on his own. And then just about a year ago, What Is Time, Ozzy did release a duet of Lemmy and Ozzy singing Hellraiser together, which was pretty cool. So, long story short, Pinhead's greatest adversary, of course, would be one Lemmy Kilmister, of course. So we got Lemmy, we got Pinhead here together. We're ready to reenact that Hellraiser video where these two squared off, and Pinhead lost to Lemmy. Lemmy came out on top. Lemmy always comes out on top. But I might end up displaying Pinhead with one of my Lemmys. I have multiples of these. I might put those together just kind of, for those that know, they know. But check out Hellraiser by, of course, Motorhead. Lemmy, oh, we miss ya. Pinhead, we don't miss you. You're still here. Kinda. We miss Doug Bradley as Pinhead. How about that? We'll leave it at that. But there it is. Pinhead, NECA Ultimate. Here for it. This for you. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Where does Pinhead fit in your category of those late 70s, 80s, of course, horror icons? He's in the mix. I just don't know if he makes the Mount Rushmore. It might be a tough one. You guys give me your 4. I think I would have to go for sure Leatherface, Freddy, of course, Jason, and Michael Myers. I think you gotta go those 4, but I think Pinhead, he's close on the end. I could see somebody switching Pinhead and Leatherface around. I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments down below your Mount Rushmore of 80s horror icons. Of course, you made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell. We got videos every single day, and then some. We got even more content for you, of course, on Patreon, including early access to videos like this and bonus content, Q&As, giveaways, you name it. You can also sign up as a free member. Check out the link in the description down below. You can also, of course, support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. And don't forget social media, SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. So for Hellraiser, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.